we take a look at the very best Xbox Series X games you can play right now before 2025 properly kicks off. It's no secret that Xbox has had a rocky few years, pretty much since the start of the Xbox Series X generation. A lack of true first-party exclusives was met with understandable disappointment from owners of Microsoft's latest console, causing the platform to engage in a flurry of publisher acquisitions. However, in recent years, we started to see the fruits of these labors come to fruition, with a modest but worthwhile stream of Xbox releases making the platform a solid one to play on. Here's our list of the very best games you can play on the platform. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Trust Xbox to keep its best game of the generation saved up for last, but that's exactly the case with Indiana Jones and the Great Circle when it released at the tail end of 2024. An old-school first-person adventure game polished up and prettied for the modern era of consoles, Machine Games' take on Harrison Ford's roguish adventurer understands the importance of translating his brains as well as brawn. This leads to long sections where you're afforded to explore sites such as Giza and the Vatican entirely at your own pace, uncovering all kinds of hidden secrets and solving ancient puzzles. Bookended by fun stealth and satisfying melee action, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is a grand translation of one of cinema's best successes. Forza Horizon 5. Set in a beautiful open-world rendition of Mexico, Forza Horizon 5 is easily one of the best-looking Xbox Series X exclusives to have ever been released. Boasting a map that is 50% larger than the last entry, visiting the Horizon Festival behind the wheel of hundreds of cars is never not a thrill. It's the variety of what you can do and where you can go that most impresses, be it driving through ancient Mayan temples or over caverns of a nearby volcano. The Forza Horizon series was already known for being the approachable racing series non-racing players will enjoy, and the same is very much true of Forza Horizon 5. Not just one of the best racing games on Xbox, but one of the best racing games ever. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Building off the template and successes found in 2020's Microsoft Flight Simulator, Asobo Studios' new-gen continuation of the historic series received the ultimate buff last year with the launch of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Like before, players get to circumnavigate the globe using a litany of air-based vehicles, planning out flight paths and then performing them to an uncannily realistic degree. New mission types include air search and rescue, crop dusting, skydiving, and even aerial crane construction. Far more than just an expansion, this is the 2020 title upgraded, improved, and expanded upon in almost every way, primed to indulge Xbox players who want to become the ultimate pilot. Starfield. A wildly ambitious sci-fi RPG from legendary developer Bethesda Game Studios, Starfield was met with rather middling reviews at launch, but there's no denying that it has steadily built up a dedicated audience of fans since then. You play as a space explorer trying to find the secrets of the universe, traveling across the galaxy and visiting different planets and filling in the personal stories of your eclectic cast of companions along the way. The Xbox console version was left without a 60 FPS mode at launch, but this has now since been added, offering a much smoother RPG experience that allows both the base game and its recently released Shattered Space expansion to be enjoyed to its absolute fullest. Cyberpunk 2077. Having amazed fans the world over with its release of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt back in 2015, CD Projekt Red's next RPG seemed like an open goal. Cyberpunk 2077 was notoriously released in a poor state at launch, however, causing the studio to stick with it and hope that players also stuck around. Thank heavens they did, as now Cyberpunk 2077 has swiftly become one of the very best RPGs you can play on Xbox Series X, improved thanks to totally revamped progression, new endings, and one of the best story expansions ever in Phantom Liberty. Players who are yet to jump into Cyberpunk 2077 can now look forward to an incredibly polished experience. Night City and all it offers awaits. Psychonauts 2. A staggering 16 years in the making, Psychonauts 2 more than delivered when it launched on Xbox Series X in 2021, serving as one of the most creative and invention-fueled 3D platformers ever. You once again take on the role of plucky Psychonaut agent Raz, who this time gets to explore the team's psychic headquarters in the hopes of solving a historical mystery while becoming acquainted with his quirky circus family. The level design on display here is nothing short of amazing, as you'll bounce, roll, and zip your way through various brains, all based on a different theme, from 60s rock shows to cooking competitions. Simply put, Psychonauts 2 is a must-play if you own an Xbox. Halo Infinite. Despite releasing almost a full year after the launch of the Xbox Series X, Halo Infinite excelled in all the ways it took the established FPS formula Bungie developed for the first Halo and then supplanted it onto a more modern open world format. This new structure brought a greater weight to this next chapter of Master Chief's story, where he must, this time, fight back against an old school threat in the Banished. Now equipped with a grapple hook, for the first time ever in a Halo game, Xbox players could use verticality to their advantage. A fairly robust multiplayer suite also sits alongside the wonderfully paced campaign, making Halo Infinite one of the most complete packages on the platform. Metaphor ReFantazio. How do you follow up one of the best JRPGs of all time? Seemingly, according to Sega at least, by releasing yet another one. In this case, it's Metaphor ReFantazio following up the already excellent Persona 5 Royal, which swaps out school days and the classroom for all things fantasy and medieval. The result is a bold and ambitious story about fighting against the odds, believing in yourself, and doing what's right to protect the sanctity of others. Metaphor ReFantazio achieves all this while drenching itself in a beautiful cel-shaded art style that only adds to the game's otherworldliness, complete with engaging turn-based battles and multiple ways to spend your in-game time. Once Metaphor ReFantazio gets its hooks into you, you simply won't want to let go. Hi-Fi Rush. One of the biggest surprise launches to come to an Xbox in recent years, Hi-Fi Rush is an inventive hack-and-slash action game where you're rewarded for attacking on the beat. Syncing your actions to the game's soundtrack in this way sees you receive a higher grade, dealing greater damage and being more effective in battle. It's not the sort of thing you'd expect to see from the same developer behind the Evil Within series, Tango Gameworks, but it's a refreshingly fun world to be in by comparison. Complete with appropriately epic boss battles and a lovable cast of characters, Hi-Fi Rush is one of the most colourful worlds you can inhabit on Xbox. Dead Space. The original Dead Space has a reputation for being one of the scariest horror games ever, so the stakes were high when EA announced it was recreating the game back in 2023 by way of a modern remake. The result looks and plays just as well as any other game released these days, with the freakish looking necromorphs appearing more gruesome than ever and the USG Ishimura still living up to its reputation as the ultimate haunted house in space. New developer Motive Studio even went one step further with this remake, expanding certain sections and retooling bosses to help make navigation and previously awkward sequences less annoying. Whether played on Xbox or not, the Dead Space remake can now be thought of as the definitive version. So there you have it in terms of our top 10 list of best games you can play on your Xbox Series X right now. Odds are that this will change in 2025 if the most recent developer direct is anything to go by. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave it a like and consider subscribing to the Mirror Gaming YouTube channel to stay up to date with even more videos like this. Until next time, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.